Alright, hello, citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel here, and today I have got yet another tier list for you guys. So, right off the bat, this is probably going to be the last tier list I'm going to do for a while as we shift our gears towards October and doing all the stuff we have planned for the month of October. So, this is going to be the last one we're going to do, and we're going out with a bang, at least for now. It's more like a temporary hiatus. But we are doing one of my absolute favorite Marvel heroes, the amazing, the spectacular Spider-Man. So we got a lot of attires here. Spider-Man's been around for a while, so he's had a lot of costumes over the years. And let's go down to our tiers here. So in our tiers, we've got Amazing, which is like our S tier here. So I guess I'll get rid of this little tidbit there. And then we have A tier, which means, well, I'll get into what they mean in a moment. We have B tier, we have C tier, and we have the Human Spider. So, starting with our S tier, aka Amazing tier. Amazing is pretty much like a fantastic attire, fantastic costume, one of the best. Definitely gotta give it all the props in the world because it is fantastic. A tier is like still really good, just not enough for Amazing tier. B tier is still good, but not A or Amazing. So it's kind of like the middle ground. C tier is like it's one or two things that's keeping it from the bottom of the barrel, and our bottom tier is the Human Spider. Why is it called the Human Spider? Because just like Bruce Campbell's character pointed out in the OG Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire, that name sucks, which means that costume sucks. Apparently Bruce Campbell was supposed to be Mysterio, and he probably would have been if Sam Raimi was allowed to make his Spider-Man 4, but unfortunately that didn't turn out to be the case. He didn't get to make it, but anyway, let's get right into our rankings and right into our costumes, starting with his debut look here, and this is from Amazing Fantasy. I forget exactly which issue this is, but we got our debut Spider-Man gear here, and for the most part, it's pretty cool. Like the red, obviously the red is what stuck. This black with a bit of bluish hue to it, a bit of like bluish highlights to it, but still mostly black. Not bad first gear, and he's got the little web wings underneath, which didn't really carry over to a lot of other gears for Spider-Man, but still pretty cool. Talking about gears because I'm still kind of in like wrestler mode after doing the New Day tier list, which if you haven't already, go check that out. But yeah, so really cool attire and really cool costume in my opinion, and of course you gotta give it props because it's the debut, his first issue here. So this one I will put in at least A. It's definitely gotta go in at least A. I think it's a much better debut, a much more appealing debut than say Wolverine's, which if you haven't already, go check out that tier list as well. Next up is the classic red and blue, the iconic Spider-Man attire. You already gotta give it props because this is the look that Spider-Man is most known for, and of course he's got the web design throughout the red sections and the blue sections. The red and blue who are for the most part pretty balanced out. There's probably a little more blue, but still, of course, his iconic attire and everything, and the web design is what really ties it together. And because he's Spider-Man, so it's supposed to be like a spider's web, and of course the Spider-Man logo right there. So and he has one on the back, but this isn't showing the back. But still, this, of course, you got to put it in. You gotta put it in Amazing because it's a classic. It's an absolute classic. And I also decided, unlike the Wolverine one, mostly because I could find other attires from the comics, is that I decided not to do anything from like movies or TV for Spider-Man because honestly that one could and probably will end up being its own tier list. But for now, we're just sticking strictly for the most part, to the comics, and I'll show you why I say for the most part in just a moment. But now we move on to the symbiote. We did not want to do that. Get it back in the frame. Oops. But the symbiote look. I do. It is a really. It's almost basic by like today's standards, but back when this came out, this was like super cool and super out there. It's all black. It's got the white in the eyes and the big white spider logo, and the whites on like the backs of the hands are pretty cool. So yeah, another pretty iconic Spider-Man attire, but for a different reason. So this one, which has been put in all kinds of Spider-Man media ever since. This one is definitely, you gotta go a with this as well. It actually debuted during Secret Wars, if I'm not mistaken, and then it turned Spider-Man evil, and you pretty much know the story from there, and that's how we got Venom. Next up is the big time Spider-Man suit. So, you got the black suit here, similar to this, except now it's got the green light up, and this one is supposed to be a stealth suit, and this one's pretty cool. I like the design throughout, and the Spider logo being like fragmented is pretty cool, and the green is a nice touch, and it's still keeping against the mostly black. Heck, so this one is also pretty good for the most part, so I think I'll put this one in B. So big time Spider-Man goes in B tier. Next up is the Iron Spider, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, and this is just kind of how it looked in the Ultimate Spider-Man TV show, which, from what I remember, was actually a pretty good show. It starred Drake Bell, and that's where I'm going to leave that. But, yeah, so pretty cool look. Like the all red and the gold and the giant limbs coming out. And also, I know we're not talking about the movies and everything in terms of like comics, but I think how it looked in the movies was also pretty cool. But just the attire, it definitely is like an armor attire, which is nice. And the powers and functionality of it really helps as well. And the gold and the red really mixed together. And similar, of course, to Iron Man, which I believe Iron Man is the one who designed the suit in the comics as well. Which, if you haven't already, I did a tier list for Iron Man as well as MCU attires or MCU armor. So if you haven't already, go check out that one. But for Iron Spider, I think I'm gonna put this one in. Yeah, I'm gonna put this one in A. So Iron Spider is going in A tier. So really cool attire in my opinion. Next up is the Spider Armor Mark 1. Not sure who this is in the back. I'm sure I'll know him if I like heard his name, but is that Black Tom? Not sure, but anyway, we're here for Spider-Man anyway. This one is this one's a little weird, not gonna lie. The silver and black is a pretty cool look, but like these like squares and everything on like the gloves and the boots and where the webbing usually is what's kind of throwing me off a little bit. And this attire has also been used a lot in Spider-Man related media, but I think this one I'm gonna put. I think I'll put it in B. It still looks cool for the most part, but just the squares and everything, which I know it's supposed to be like the web pattern and everything to go with the armor, but it does look a little bit weird. So I think this one I'll put in B. Next up is the Last Stand Spider-Man, and this and a few other attires I got from how they look in the Spider-Man PS4 game, and because that's the cleanest image I can find of them, where it shows like the whole attire, top to bottom and everything, in which it's shout out to that game for having so many attires for Spider-Man, so many extra costumes you can unlock for Spider-Man. But this one, I think this one's okay. You got the mask and you got the jacket and the Spider logo there, and then you got the jeans and everything. Now I kind of get the lore behind this. If I'm not mistaken, this is an alternate universe where Peter was not Spider-Man for some time, and then he went back into the suit. So it would kind of make sense for this to be more like a thrown together type look. But yeah, so this one I think is it's a little on the basic end. Essentially, it's just mask, jacket, pants, but I think the symbolism is supposed to be where it's at. But for the attire itself, I may have to go C. I think I'm gonna go. Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna go C for this one. Which again, keep in mind these are my opinions. If you disagree, that is totally fine. And in fact, let me know if you agree or disagree in the comment section below. Next up is Spider-Man Noir. This is a pretty cool look, not gonna lie. I like the hat and the coat and the gloves and everything. Of course, Noir is supposed to be like based in like I believe early 1920s, if I'm not mistaken, or I could be wrong about that. Anything noir based, but it's a pretty cool look, and it does look like a gritty, more depressing Spider-Man, because it essentially is a gritty, more depressing Spider-Man. And also, a bit unrelated, shout out to Nicolas Cage for how he played Spider-Man Noir in Into the Spider-Verse. Really solid movie, in my opinion. Really fantastic movie. Can't wait for the sequel. But for this one, I think we're gonna put this one in at least B. Yeah, I do really like this one. So Noir is going in B tier. Next up is Spider-Ham. This one is kind of ridiculous. It's like, it's very cartoony and everything. And, this is an alternate universe where where like all the Marvel heroes are like animals. So we got Spider-Ham here, and I think this is the same universe as Throg, aka Frog Thor. But we got Peter Porker here as a Spider-Man pig. It's ridiculous, but it's funny and actually kind of cool how it's essentially Spider-Man, but he's a pig, and he's been portrayed over the years as like sort of like a Looney Tunes character, and that's also kind of how he's portrayed in like Into the Spider-Verse as well, as more like a Looney Tune type character, which is pretty cool. But this one, I gotta put it in amazing. I'm sorry, it is hilarious. Also, he was pretty cool in the Into the Spider-Verse movie as well. But Spider-Ham, I gotta put it in amazing. It is so funny. Next up is Spider-Punk, and this one's really cool. I like how the suit, a lot of blue and like red sneakers, instead of like the traditional boots, and I like how this kind of curves into a lightning bolt. As you can see here, the guitar even has the webbing design behind it, and like the spiky mohawk and the little jacket and everything. So yeah, overall pretty cool look for Spider-Man, or in this case Spider-Punk. So this one I think I'm gonna put in B. So really cool stuff here. So Spider-Punk is going in B. Next up is going to be, I believe, is the manga Spider-Man, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so the Spider-Man manga version, who's part of the Spider Clan, which is like an organization of Spider-Man in the manga verse, which I definitely got to brush up on. And honestly, just like manga and anime in general, believe it or not, it's not really my thing, but I want to get into it. But this one's pretty cool. I like how it's a bit more like a looks a bit more like clothing, like like a shirt, and then pants, and then the sneakers, and then the short sleeve shirt this time around with the arm wraps and the gloves. I think it looks pretty cool, and the I think it's supposed to be like a backpack on his back there. So with that, I think looks really cool. So I definitely got to brush up on not just the manga verse, but my manga in general. But this one, I think I'm going to put in A. It's a really cool attire, in my opinion. Next up is Spider-Man UK. So this is an alternate version of Spider-Man, which is actually Brian Braddock, aka Captain Britain, and man, it's a buff Spider-Man. Of course, Captain Britain very buff and everything, but Spider-Man is especially buff, and I do like this one. It's really cool how it's got like the still Spider-Man design, but there's a lot more blue as it kind of curves into more like the UK flag design. My only like nitpicks, I guess, would be I wish there was a little bit more red. Like you could still have like the red boots and everything, and have them be like the Union Jack type boots, which you could have there, or with red and blue and stuff. But also, I wish it was a darker blue to more represent the UK flag. So if I pull up UK flag, hey, you can see that it's a bit more like a darker blue, versus here it's more of like a lighter blue. But still, maybe it's just this image, but still, I'm gonna put it in B. It's still a really cool looking gear in my opinion. Next up is going to be the Scarlet Spider, aka Ben Reilly, who is a clone of Peter Parker, or who became a Spider-Man. Probably one of the most recognizable Spider-Man that's not Peter Parker is Ben Reilly as the Scarlet Spider. And this one is pretty cool. I like how instead of like a traditional Spider-Man where it's like the web design and everything, instead it opts for a red bodysuit with like a blue sleeveless hoodie. Yeah, I think that's a pretty cool design. It shows like a more cool, more edgy Spider-Man, and the gauntlets and everything and the silver and all that. It looks pretty cool. So I think this one I will put in. I don't know if I want to put it in not spectacular, amazing, but I think I will put it at least in A. I think it looks really cool in A. Next up is the red and black variant of Scarlet Spider, which I believe is another clone, if I'm not mistaken. This one I don't like as much in terms of appearance as this one. I do like the black this time around, and the red eyes I think looks pretty cool, and it's got like the same Spider logo as Ben Reilly does there. But other than that, that's kind of about it. It looks a little bland. I wish it was a little more black. But yeah, so I think this one, Scarlet Spider, I don't want to put it in C, but I don't want to put it in A, so it will go in B. So the red and black variant of the Scarlet Spider will unfortunately go in B, R and B, which is actually kind of funny. Next up is Fear itself, and this is how it looks in the Spider-Man PS4 video game. Not really maybe it's just this image, but I'm not really a big fan of this one. All like that blue and everything, it can hurt the eyes a little bit. I do like kind of like the scales design we're getting for the black here, or along with like the white lines, and I wouldn't mind if it was blue, but I feel like the blue and like the glowing parts of the webbing design is kind of throwing me off. Again, maybe it's just this image, but Fear itself, I think I'm going to put in C. So, Fear itself is going in C. Next up is the Spirit Spider. So, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the lore behind this is that Spider-Man becomes the Ghost Rider, or like a Spirit of Vengeance type thing, similar to like the other Ghost Riders, like Johnny Blaze or Robbie E. Reyes. But this one, it does look kind of cool, but also kind of weird. The all white is pretty cool, and the blazing skull and everything is pretty cool, and the Spider-Man logo there, or the Spider logo, I should say, on the chest is also a nice touch as well. But other than that, it does look a little weird because it's almost a little too fleshy, if that makes any sense. But still, I do like it for the most part. So I think this one I will put in B. So Spirit Spider is going in B. Next up is let's see here, Cyborg Spider-Man, which, if I'm not mistaken, was part of a short-lived Spider-Man comic where he was stopping arms deals. If I'm not mistaken, if I get any of the lore behind this wrong, I do apologize. And this is also how it looks in the Spider-Man PS4 video game. Excuse me, but this one I do kind of like. There's a whole bunch of scarring, and there's a lot of these robotic parts, such as like this eye and then this robotic arm. There's the white bandage, or like a white headband, and then white bandage across the leg and the belt. It does look pretty cool. But other than that, it's mainly Spider-Man's main attire. So this, I think I'll at least put in B. So Cyborg Spider-Man is going in B. Next up is, let's see here. Next up is Spider-Man 2099, aka Miguel O'Hara. I have always been a big fan of just the look of Spider-Man 2099. This attire has always been super cool. I think the first time I saw Spider-Man 2099 or heard about him was the Spider-Man Edge of Time video game, but man, what an introduction, because this attire is really cool. Like the black, and it's supposed to be like a symbiote type thing, but the black's pretty cool with the red and that cool like skull Spider-Man logo, and then the mask looks really cool. He's got like the web wings as well, but he's got like the spikes and the claws. Oh, this is awesome. Awesome, definitely awesome. So this one is definitely going in amazing. He fell in love with the design of Spider-Man 2099 when I first saw it, and hopefully which it looks like he might, but hopefully he has a bigger role in the next Into the Spider-Verse movie, which it looks like he already is going to have one. Next up is the white variant of the Spider-Man 2099 suit, and this one I think pink is also really cool. Maybe not as cool as this one, but I still really like it. I like the white and the red head and how it still forms that Skull Spider-Man logo. This again is from Spider-Man PS4, and then the black heck and everything. It looks pretty cool. So a really awesome design. So I don't think I'm gonna put it in amazing, but it is still an A. So Spider-Man 2099, the white variation, is going in A tier. So really cool attire. Just Spider-Man 2099's attire is really cool, and the fact that he has more powers than just Peter Parker has. Next up is the Superior Spider-Man, and this is during a time where Dr. Otto Octavius, aka Dr. Octopus, took over as Spider-Man when Peter Parker was believed to be dead. But this one is cool for the most part. I do like the claws, similar to like the Iron Spider coming out, and it makes sense because this is Dr. Otto Octavius, aka Dr. Octopus. He still used the claws to get around and everything. You know, like the red here and the Spider-Man logo, and then the black all the way towards the bottom. It reminds me a lot of like Bucky Barnes' attire as Captain America. So if you look up Captain America Bucky Barnes, so you can see how it's like, because Bucky Barnes does take over as Captain America for a while, so you can see it's still got the Captain America on the top, and then the rest is black, pretty much down. So I get like a similar vibe here, but I think it's still pretty cool, and people like the red on the shoes there, and the arm gauntlets are still pretty cool. So this one I think I'm gonna put in B. So Superior Spider-Man is a B. Still a really cool attire. Next up is let's see here, is the Aaron Eichmann version of Spider Armor. Now, Aaron Eichmann is an artist, if I'm not mistaken, and this is his interpretation of what the Spider Armor looks like. Not gonna lie, this is a really cool armor. It almost reminds me of like of like the spider bot or the spider mech that Penny Parker has. For those of you who've seen Into the Spider-Verse, it's the one with the mech. Actually, let me look up Penny Parker. Doing a lot of googling this time around. The SP /DR suit. So it kind of reminds me of that. So you can see this suit, which she was pretty cool in Into the Spider-Verse. I do wish she kind of got a bigger role, but she was still pretty cool. So I kind of get those vibes when I see this a little bit, but it's still pretty cool. And this is also how I think these next few ones are how they look in Spider-Man PS4. But it's pretty cool how this one ended up in Spider-Man PS4. It looks like the traditional Spider-Man suit, just more like bulked up and everything, which is nice. And it has a bit of a darker blue. So I think this one is definitely. Do I want to put in Spectacular? You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna put in Spectacular. So, Aaron Eichman, you did a really good job in your interpretation of the spider armor. So, next is the Spider Armor Mark II. So, this is, I don't think this is officially canon, but it's just more like an interpretation. But this one's a canon. And this one I think is pretty cool. I like the black and this like web design on the underbits and on like the top and everything, and the yellow mixed with like the yellow eyes and everything. Pretty cool. And I think this was the inspiration for the anti-ox suit that we do get in Spider-Man PS4. So you see here, and I didn't put this because this is like a video game, and I'm going to do like media Spider-Man suits later on with like video games, movies, TV shows, and stuff like that. But I think this was inspired by this one. But this one is pretty cool in my opinion. So I think I'm gonna give this one an A. So I like it a lot more than the Mark 1 armor. But that's just my opinion. Next up is Spider Armor Mark III, and this one is pretty cool. It kind of reminds me of Red Hood a little bit. I think it's mostly the helmet, but I do like the helmet and the pads and everything, and the armor bits. It's look pretty cool. The nice big Spider-Man logo right there, and also the webbing design throughout. Although I think that's choice put in by Spider-Man PS4, but still pretty cool design overall. So I think this one I'm also gonna put in A. So I'll just do SAM3. So Spider Armor Mark III. No, because I'm not gonna remember it. I'm occasionally kind of slow. I'm not gonna lie. So Spider Armor Mark III. I'll just spell out the whole thing, just so I remember. Next up is Spider Armor Mark IV. And this one, I think this one is a little bit weird. I get it's like an armor design and everything, and this one looks a lot closer like his regular attire, just now metallic and armorized and everything. But I think it does come off looking a little bit weird because there's a lot of these like little divots and stuff there to show off the armor, to show that it is armor. And maybe it's a stylized choice because this once again is from Spider-Man PS4, but which is where I put down a lot of these costumes I got from Spider-Man PS4. So shouts out to that game. And then this spider logo, it does look a little weird. So this one I think I'm going to put in B. Unfortunately, the streak was broken. So Spider Armor Mark IV, I think I'm gonna put in B. Next up is The Wrestler, and this a few different looks throughout the years, and this is how it looks in, once again, Spider-Man PS4. pretty basic. Not gonna lie, it's more like a starting out armor, but it is kind of basic, like the mask esque shirt, pants, sneakers slash boots. Boots. So it is pretty simplistic, but I do get like the origin and everything of it. But this one I think I'm gonna put in C. So the wrestler Spider-Man is going in C. Next up is the Secret War. Not gonna lie, I've always thought this one was pretty ugly. And it's not even just like the Spider-Man PS4 version of it, because I've seen other images of it. I've always thought this one was ugly. It's got the webbing with like the red, which is nice, and then it's got the blue Spider-Man logo and some of the lines coming throughout, and they try to do like an all black with just some red and blue seeping out, but it doesn't really work. And sometimes in the comics it looks kind of brown, but yeah, this one I don't think really works. I really do not like this one. So sadly, you are our first, possibly only, human spider. Sorry, Secret War Spider-Man. I didn't want to have to do it, but you forced my hand. Next up is Miles Morales. Miles Morales has always had a really cool attire as Spider-Man. And I like how it's got like that new age sort of flavor to it. It's all black and it's got the red and it's got like the web design with a Spider logo there and the red on the gloves and everything. Pretty cool stuff. It pretty much takes what the original did right here, but adds like a bit of modern flavor to it, which I think is really nice. And that describes Miles Morales as a whole, is like new age flavor to the Spider-Man. So this one is definitely going in A. It's a really cool attire in my opinion. And last but not least, because why not, Peter Parker. I figured it was only fair. I did Wolverine in his street gear last time, so I figured might as well do the same for Peter Parker here. And Peter Parker, he's a nerd, so he dresses like a nerd, but that's not always a bad thing. So, he also has like other sweaters and everything that he usually wears. This one is actually how he looks like the Ultimate Comics, the Ultimate Spider-Man comics from the late 90s, early 2000s, which inspired that really cool video game. But yeah, so Peter Parker, I think I'm gonna at least put it in B. I gotta at least give him that. So, you are going in B. So to recap, in Amazing tier we had the classic red and blue, Spider-Ham, Spider-Man 2099, and the Aaron Eichmann Spider Armor. In A tier we had the debut, the symbiote, the Iron Spider, Spider-Clan, Scarlet Spider, Spider-Man 2099, White Variant, Spider Armors Mark 2 and 3, and Miles Morales. In B tier we had Big Time, the Spider Armor Mark 1, Noir, Spider-Punk, Spider-Man UK, Scarlet Spider, Spirit Spider, Cyborg Spider-Man, Superior Spider-Man, Spider Armor Mark 4, and Peter Parker. In C tier we had The Last Stand, Fear Itself, and Wrestler. And in D tier, and in the Human Spider tier, aka our D tier, we had Secret War. So, guys, my rankings. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please do me a favor, or like the video, comment below not just your thoughts on my rankings, but what's your favorite and least favorite Spider-Man costumes. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on post notifications as well, or bell notifications, so you know every time I upload a video, so you can see it as soon as it drops. And share it with your friends, and I will see you guys later. Peace.